Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Mike here. In today's video, I am back out in the garage, and you'll notice that this isn't a Scout. Yeah, and it's also not Barney either. Melly and I purchased used a extremely low mile, had like 63 miles on it. 2023 Royal Enfield Classic 350 with the 350 J series engine. It's a single. It's not really going to be a whole project series. What this video is actually about is when we bought the bike, I had no way to carry anything, and Melly and I bought this as a family bike. My brother-in-law is learning how to ride, and he has a 1969 SL Honda 90 that has parts made out of unobtainium. And it's difficult for him to ride and learn on a bike that is very difficult to repair and get parts. So Melly and I bought this for all of us, all three of us, basically. Her brother, myself, and her. So we just kind of put around on it. It's fun. The best thing about a small bike like this is you can park it on the sidewalk in front of a store to go run an errand, and nobody really says anything about it because it's so small. It's unobtrusive. It's just there, and it's a cool bike. People are going to ask you questions about the little Classic 350. I had purchased what I thought to be factory Royal Enfield saddlebags with little mounts on them. These things. They were actually knockoffs, and I didn't know that because the seller on eBay listed Royal Enfield part numbers, and they weren't Royal Enfield. Now, they're not terrible, and they were very inexpensive, but the brackets are pretty crappy quality. They're not actually water resistant or waterproof in any way, even though it kind of has it's got a roll flap in it here, kind of like a wet bag for a kayak. So if I open this dude up here, it has this liner here, but it's only the top portion of the bag. It doesn't go down into the inside of the saddlebag, and so the only water resistant part of it is the very tippy top. So it's not a very good bag. It's a knockoff of one that Royal Enfield doesn't really sell in North America. Even the Royal Enfield logo is a bit small, and it's like a crappy silk screen, but it's good enough to haul some crap around in. But I actually want to have this so that we can take like a weekend trip somewhere. There's a lot of places you can ride in Michigan within a few hours. Recently, I noticed that Viking Bags made quick release bags for the Classic. And here they are. It's a almost identical size to the one that's on there. It's got MOLLE straps or MOLLE straps on it, so you can lash stuff to the outside. It's got like a rigid reinforcement, and it's quick release. This is all an aluminum plate here that's bolted to another one, so it's extremely rigid. I mean, it'll hold a lot of weight. You got a nice handle on it. And the other thing that is very cool is you get a complete waterproof liner, and the inside is lined to be water resistant, and it locks. So you can lock it to the bike, or you can take it off quickly with a quick release. And you get a left and right. They are sold separately. You do a left and right saddlebag, and between that and a little tail bag, you got enough to take a week's trip on the little Classic 350. So today we're going to install these, and it should be pretty easy because it's only 3 bolts. Let's get started. The thing about this install is this very, small. It's well made. It's well welded. There's no slag on it. It's powder coated. You got these stainless spools on it. This is what engages the quick release system on the Viking bag. I didn't much care for Viking bags in the past because when I looked at them for my Indian Scout, the quality was not great, and they had these weird looking dog bone mounts that were pretty flimsy. The bags themselves always seemed pretty good, but the hardware was not great. This is different. This is like a game changer. This piece of hardware makes their bags infinitely more usable, and the fact that it's quick release, and this is all you'll see on the bike when it's done. It's a lot more compact than the mounts that are currently on it. Like I said, the welds are really good. It's got a good quality, like a satin textured powder coat on it, and it only bolts on with 3 bolts. See? I want to make one note here, and it should say this on the Viking Bags website, is that you have to have the passenger pillion seat because underneath this there is a frame that this guy will mount to on these two upper bolts. And there is a taper. So you do want to download the instructions. The instructions are not included because, you know, you may buy one bag, you may buy them both. They sell them individually. Remember that, they're not sold as pairs. So you'll have to download the instructions. It's just a PDF file, and honestly, you only need one page from it that shows the exploded parts diagram of the spacers and washers and which go where. Because while these two bolts are the same size, there's two different spacers because the pillion seat has a taper to it. So you have to be mindful of which spacer you're using, because the taper will affect how this this plate, you know, mounts to the back of the bike. And you'll see that during the install. Now, while these aren't the greatest bags, and I've actually had to repair one, they still work. You know, if you just need something to haul some gear around or run an errand, they're perfectly fine. And I think all in with shipping from India, I think I had like 160 bucks into these. Now, I'm probably not going to show all the gory details of removing these bags because I'm not really doing a video on installation of knockoff Royal Enfield bags. But I do know if you do end up buying these, like I said, they're still perfectly usable. I just wouldn't take them on long trips. Make sure you zip tie them to the bike. The attachment system kind of sucks, just like the bags. Frames are okay. You could probably do like a leather throw over if you wanted to just use the frames and use the frames on some other kind of bike. If you do want the best version of this style bag, other than the Viking bag, Hitchcock's out of the UK sells them. They're always kind of in and out of stock because they're popular. They sell a much better frame, a much better bag, better quality, better buckles. Everything's better about it. Don't buy the knockoffs. Either get the Hitchcock's one, or if you can find it, get the original OEM bag. Or do what I did, buy a Viking bag. Now that I got the old saddlebags off of here, pretty much the install is about as simple as it can be, other than just keeping track of which bolts go where. There are 3 different size bolts and like 4 different size spacers. So you need that like one-page diagram for Viking bags to make sure you know which one goes where. So all you gotta do is take this little plastic cover off that's in front of the shock bolt. And then again, you need to have the pillion mount. There's a subframe underneath the pillion seat. And this Viking bag mount relies on these 2 bolts that your pillion seat's mounted to. So you just swap them out with longer bolts and spacers. Then you put some spacers here, and the bracket mounts right to the side. A trusty Swiss Army knife here. We'll gently pry up this little plug. Hold on to this guy in case I decide to run my bike without the saddlebag one day. And we'll still have it. There we go. So that guy comes out. You only need 2 tools here. You're gonna need a 12mm socket, and then you're gonna need a 5mm Allen driver, and then just patience. Maybe a little thread locker. Ain't a bad idea. Extract this bolt here. There's no nut on the back of it, so it goes into something threaded. That bolt comes off. That's your 12. Hold on to the hardware, because if you ever take the Viking bag back off, decide not to use it, well, you'll need them as spares, right? And the 5mm Allen driver. You need to take off either the grab rail, or in my case, I got the little luggage rack here. Alrighty. Put this guy out here. That's it. Now then, I grab my hardware here. With the spacers, you get 2 of these spacers. The small one goes in first, or the thin one. Well, I guess it doesn't go in first because it's too big. So I ran into a little bit of a problem. The order of operation here, as far as what the instructions say, is that I'm supposed to use this spacer should go in to this hole first, followed by this one. There's a problem with both of these spacers. They're too big in diameter. The outer diameter is too big to fit in here. And it's not bent or anything, and it doesn't appear to have an excess of powder coat. Now, I could beat these on with a hammer, but then I can't ever take it back apart. Just so happens in my stash of stuff, I have some other, steel spacers that are exactly the same, same height, just not the same diameter. So what I'll do is I'll put these in first and then put the bigger one on the outside so that it clears, and then it should work fine. So that's a problem, Viking Bags. Your included hardware doesn't fit. So yeah, I thought I was going to get away with not having to deal with hardware issues with Viking Bags, but I guess that's not true. I'm going to goop up the end of this guy with a little bit of thread locker on a stick. Boop. That's all it needs. Then put this dude in like so. This is the longest bolt. You got the washer, a little washer. Scooch my thread locker around. It goes through that hole. Then the flat washer, which in the diagram in the instructions shows goes in first, is not going on first. It's going on last, and my smaller diameter steel spacer is going on next. Now, it will fit. So I'll just do this up by hand. Just kind of let it dangle there for a sec while I grab the other screws. You'll be okay. Stay put. Both of these bolts are the same size, so it's just the spacers. And this is a little bit different situation. These spacers, we should be good to go on these. Thicker of the two spacers there goes towards the front to compensate for that taper. This looks like it's going to be fun. Everything kind of moves around on you when it's all loose. Probably going to have to loosen up the other side a bit. It's a bit of a faff, I can tell you that, as they say. Alrighty. Let's see if I can use this Allen driver here to help use the force and feel where the underframe is at. That one started. There we go. That one started too. So until I get the other side bolted up, I'm going to leave that loose for now. Alrighty, I get my hardware prepped here. Get my thread locker on. I do like the Loctite on the glue stick. Got my bolts prepped. I got to finish taking that other stuff out. So back to my 12 mil. Take this nut out here. So now I got my stuff all prepped. I need the long bolt. Goes through, followed by the big spacer, followed by my spacer. Put that into that hole. Once you get them going, it's not too bad. So let me finish tightening up the back ones because you really can't see them from that camera angle, and then I'll show you the rest. There's a torque spec for this somewhere, but I'm just doing the German spec of Guten tight, and I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't want to make it too Guten tight because it'll strip-o-matic. Let it suck. Which is why I'm using this shorty ratchet, so I can't overdo it. All right, that's installed. And when the bag's not on the bike, that looks pretty darn good, I think. The finish on it closely resembles the one that's on the factory little luggage rack in the back. Let's get the bag mounted up. See what it looks like, because the install is pretty much done for the hardware. You are going to need to find a smaller diameter version of this spacer. Still needs to be that thick, but a smaller diameter. So you can see why I had to find a spacer that has smaller diameter, because again, that dude will not fit inside the frame where it has to go. I mean, I had that one laying around, but you could probably find, it's just a galvanized steel standoff or spacer. You can find that at like Ace Hardware, any hardware store. So shouldn't be a big deal, but hey, Viking Bags, need to resolve this, because you're gonna have people that are gonna have issues. Other than the little hiccup with the that spacer, it was a super easy install. So let's mount this puppy on there. Me, don't really need this right now. So there's a key that comes with it. I could lock it to the bike. I don't think I'm going to at this moment. Man, there's all kinds of stuff in here. There's little pockets, little organizers. You have yet another kind of rain fly that's internal. Let me see if you can see this. Can you see it? Not sure, but that's where the key lock is. To mount this, I'm going to take this little quick release and kind of get it out of my way there. And then it should that's it. It's on. I'm going to give them a pass on that spacer. I'll send them an email and let them know what's going on with that. And that way they can resolve that so that, you know, other customers don't have that same issue that I did. And I noticed that the spools, the slots in the mounting hardware, slot backwards and down. So it wants to go this way. But that's pretty slick, man. So you get a better view this way. See, that's your lock, and then that prevents the mechanism to release the quick release from functioning. So if you want to take it off, you know, you can undo that. Keeps people from swiping them if you want to leave them on the bike. I mean, it doesn't lock the lid. I think there is actually a different version of this bag. You know, it's more like a rigid leather bag. You do have a little top, you know, storage bin here. Well, I got you in this view. So the way this works is after you've locked it up and you want to check this out. So this is kind of like the top sleeve, almost like a kayak dry bag. This is the money here. So inside here, you've got a little, you know, padded divider. And inside that padded divider, you could fit, you know, probably fit a laptop or a PDA. And you have this padded material that keeps them separated and it doesn't get banged around. Now you can put shoes in there, you know, it's pretty deep. And so the way this works is, you know, this is like your dry bag and all the seams are taped up and sealed. And then this is weather resistant, and it's got a shell underneath the fabric outside. So you feed this guy inside. And then what you do is, you know, once you got it arranged, you attach the Velcro around the outer edge here, you know, push internally down inside the bag. Then when you got it where you want it, what you can do is you can roll this up and then clip it together like a dry bag for a kayak, you know. And the lid goes down. This guy clips up, and then all your stuff stays dry in there. And then again, you still got the MOLLE straps, and they give you extra straps so you can lash all kinds of stuff down to this. It's a really good system. Again, the only thing that I found a fault with was that spacer, but it went on super easy otherwise. I would probably just take the whole bag into a cabin or a hotel or into my tent instead of messing around with taking the liner in and out all the time. And I'd probably, for me personally, I'd probably only do this liner when I'm going on a long trip and I know I might get in rain. Because it's a, I don't see you taking this in and out constantly. And also, you might mess up the taped, the sealed seams on the bag. But that's like a proper dry bag, What Viking Bags says on their website is it's water resistant, right? So they're not claiming it's waterproof. But man, it's going to be pretty damn good, I got to tell you. Like I said, for most normal around the town, I'll just push this top flap inside, and then, boom, you're done, all locked up, ready to roll. That is pretty neat. I like it. In addition to these MOLLE straps and webbing, Viking gives you like a ton of tie downs. I mean, this was just from one bag. So I have like multiple sets of tie downs with these hooks, and they hook right into the MOLLE system. You can put tent rolls on here. You can put tool rolls. You can put that on that strap. There's other webbing straps that are on the sides. You can hook it in on the side. They give you, where is it? Let me find one. They give you strap management. You get the little elastic. On these, you have little Velcros where you can take and wind up your excess so the straps aren't flapping in the wind. It's pretty well thought out. You got all kinds of extra loops here to tie down all kinds of gear. I mean, you could pile another bag on top of this that's not necessarily designed to be a saddlebag, like Biltwell has the X-Fill bags. Well, you can use these straps along with the MOLLE system, and then the X-Fill has MOLLE straps on it too. And yeah, I mean, you could pack probably a week or two's worth of stuff on this bike and go out on a big long trip on a little tiny 350. That'd be pretty sweet. I was just looking for a better bag. You can tighten this if you got a lot in your saddlebag to give you some compression. If you don't have a bunch of stuff on there, well, you got strap management, as it were. You could just roll that dudester up there, and then flip the Velcro around, and boom, that's it. Your excess is held at bay, and your straps aren't flapping around in the breeze. So that's it. They're all mounted up. They look really good. They seem to be built well. We will see how well they last over time. Coolest feature of all on these bad boys, you can just pop them right off with a quick release, and then you can put them right back on. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Boom! Take them off when you get to your destination, and when they're off, when you got them off the bike, that's all that's there. You don't have some big frame. You ride two up, your passenger's leg doesn't get in the way of all this stuff. These little spools look nice. It's a nice piece of kit. Even if you don't have the accessory little luggage rack there, typically if you got the pillion seat on the Classics, you have the little loop there. This still works with it, but you have to have the pillion seat. Well, you know what they say, you get what you pay for. And at 189 bucks a piece, they're not the cheapest saddlebags out there, but they are worlds better than the cheap eBay ones that were knockoffs of the Royal Enfield ones that I had on here. The mounts are better, the hardware is better, the bags are infinitely better. I think it's a good value for the money that you're paying. They seem to be well made, and with the water resistant liner in there, I don't see why you couldn't ride this, cross country. Certainly you can strap all your gear to it. You can get, I've got another Viking bag that has, it's just a backpack with MOLLE straps on it. And I can lay it across here, strap it down, put tent rolls on here, sleeping bag. You can go, backpacking with it. You can strap a ton of stuff all on your bike and take a little adventure with your little classic 350. So I know this isn't my normal content. I should be working on Barney over there, but I'm not. And one of the reasons I'm not is that we had a basement flood about 2 months ago. And all of the crap that was in the basement that didn't get destroyed is now burying all my bikes alive, plus all my tools. And this little guy is towards the end of the garage door along with the Himalayans. So I can get him out, but my wife's Speedmaster and my Scout are kind of trapped in the garage right now, which is why I was kind of thinking about maybe taking a trip at some point in time with this bike. Because it's a lot of fun to ride, even though it's pretty underpowered, 20 horsepower. I don't know if we're going to have a bunch of content on this bike or not. I've already worked on the bike. I've done some mods to it. I'm probably going to install a cam. I've already done a cat delete intake, fuel X, fuel enricher, and the bike runs a lot better. I even added the Royal Enfield tripper with the intention on taking some trips. Yeah, I don't know if we'll see more content on the Royal Enfield Classic 350 in the bronze and chrome here. Melly and I have officially dubbed this bike Hazel. Maybe there's another Hazel video in the future, maybe not, I don't know. But I needed to put something out there because YouTube gave me a nasty gram. They sent me a letter, an email saying if I didn't post anything in 30 days, they were going to yank my monetization from my channel. Yeah, it's been a while since I posted something up. So hopefully this video finds you all well and you found it at least a little interesting and not too boring. So thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. If you do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know if and when I put out another video. I am contemplating doing some video podcasts. More to come in the future on that because, again, like I was saying, YouTube gave me the little nasty email letting me know, hey, Mike, you need to put some content out so that your fans or your subscribers know what the hell's going on. Well, you know, my bad, I didn't do that. And I worked too hard before my almost 5,000 subscribers. I'm almost there. Over all these years to ignore everybody and not put something out. But, you know, I just do this for fun. I'm not looking to make a career out of it or anything like that. And, you know, I'm not professional motorcycle renter here. I just like to go out in the garage and hang out and have fun. And speaking of fun, that bike is a blast. I might do a review on it once it's all modded out and, you know, I've got all the tweaks because I can't stop tinkering on motorcycles apparently. Anyhow, once again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Until I see everybody next time, ride safe.